everybody. Welcome to this week's ChannelTech VideoCast. I am your host, Charlene O'Hanlon of the Bar Guy, and I'm here back with my regular co-host, Diane Krakora, CEO of PartnerPath. Hi, Diane. How are you?
Good morning, Charlene. I'm great, thank you. And thank you for Ryan for stepping in for me earlier this week.
Yeah, we sure missed you at Channel Directions Live. It would have been great to have you there, but yes, thank you to Ryan Morse for stepping in and filling the seat, as it were, at the event. So speaking of the event, one of the things that well, first of all, I do want to say thank you to everybody who attended, because we had a super turnout and a lot of great conversations happening there. So, in fact, I was very impressed with the caliber of conversations that were happening at the event, and especially when it came to technology. You know, most people who were at the event, hopefully, understood that we actually had two separate tracks running, but everybody was invited to both. We had a technology track and a business track, and they were both focused on helping solution providers do their business, run their business better, and really with the idea that you have to understand the technology as much as you understand the business, and to create kind of a whole organization. So I actually had a really interesting panel on Tuesday morning about the technologies, kind of the 5 technologies that are driving solutions of the future, since we were looking kind of out, so that folks can start preparing. So I thought that was really kind of interesting. I had 4 folks on, including myself. I had Mark from VMware, and I'm only using first names because they're all my buds. Actually, it was Mike from VMware, Mark from DataPipe, and Seth from CompTIA. So we had a vendor, we had a services provider, and we had a researcher in addition to me, and all giving some great opinions on the technologies. So interesting.
So what were the key 5 technologies that you guys came up with?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you my list, and then maybe you can tell me your list. You can tell me.
That's fair.
Okay. All right. So our list was starting out with APIs, because they've pretty much shifted the way solution providers are offering solutions these days, and connecting everything. The APIs are the wave of the future. We also came up with containerization, because that is, especially in the app dev field, that's kind of related to APIs. You got to have a way to do all this application development without dragging on the network. So containerization is a great way to do it. What else did we say? Mobility, especially the mobile enterprise. The fact that mobile applications these days, the majority of them are basically kind of mobile application interfaces that are connected to legacy backends, and they don't really provide a full, rich user experience. So that was something definitely that solution providers need to think about as they're developing applications and developing solutions in the future. All the different things that go into a mobility solution, and start thinking, kind of starting from the ground up. You think of a mobile solution, don't think of it as like a wireless network and a mobile application and the smart devices or whatever. You got to kind of think of it more as, from that total solutions perspective. We also talked about OpenStack and the software-defined data center, and when it comes to the software, when it comes to the data center of the future, it's all software. It's just because of the flexibility and the efficiencies that they provide, and also the ability to connect to what once were disparate systems. Can be connected so much easier through a software-defined environment. And then the last thing is security, which, I think about it, it's like security. Well, we've been talking about security forever, but one of the panelists so eloquently stated, we're talking about security like we've already tackled it, and we've already, we've done everything we can with security, and that's something we're never going to be there. We're always going to need security, and there's always going to be a need for securing the endpoint, securing the network, securing the web, and so there's security. It just wraps around everything, and it's such a huge part of any solution. So those are the 5 technologies that we came up with. And we had some spirited discussions for sure about it, that's
a really, I think it's a really interesting list, and in my perspective, there are some technologies in that list, but there are also some solutions, right? So I guess that's the biggest question. And we're starting to blend this idea of what are the technologies of the futures with what are the solutions of the futures. Because I would say a software-defined data center is a solution of the future, and there's a bunch of technologies that go into a software-defined data center. Right? Where I would think the APIs, which is kind of the new version of what we used to call middleware, which middleware has been hot forever. Well, back in the day where we're able to connect databases, et cetera, together, which is the whole point of APIs, but instead of connecting it at the database level, we're connecting it at the app level. So that's certainly a technology, and security is certainly a technology, but there's some mobility. Now, is that a technology or is that a solution? Because we can also throw in there things like data analytics, or the word of data. Right, we're collecting more and more and more data over these mobility solutions, and using security to be able to do that. So is that a technology or is that a solution?
Right. Well, we did actually talk about big data also, kind of not really. It was on my short list and it kind of fell off, but we did discuss it, and I personally think that big data is the driver of a lot of the solutions of the future. And so if we talk about IoT, big data is kind of a given. If we talk about enhancing the customer experience, big data is a given. So I firmly believe that big data would have been number 6 had we done the 6 technologies driving the solutions of the future, but we didn't. So that one fell off. But I totally understand your point. I can see that a couple of those actually are solutions rather than technologies. But we only had 5, so we had to kind of
had to make them together.
Right, exactly.
So you just mentioned IoT, and that didn't make your list because when you guys in the discussion, did you call that a solution that had multiple technologies involved in it? But because we're hearing a lot, and there's a lot of buzz about IoT, we're not sure the solution providers are really making money on it yet. There's certainly need to start investing in this kind of technology / solution. How did that fall into your list?
To be perfectly honest, we didn't even really touch on IoT because we didn't have the big data discussion. So, and technically, IoT would be a solution. It wouldn't be a technology. So it didn't actually kind of come up in the discussion during my panel discussion. It may have come up in our breakout sessions, which happened after my panel discussion, where we had 3 rooms set up, and we asked the attendees to choose one of 3 rooms. The first room was for solutions for today. The second is for the immediate future, and then the third is for kind of like 24 months out. I was listening to the conversations that were happening in the 24 months out, and folks weren't even really having that conversation. They were having the cloud conversation still, which frankly really surprised me because we had asked them, where do you see your greatest area of opportunity and where do you need the most help with? And cloud computing was the top concern for them, and that's what they wanted to talk about. So I wonder if we're actually a little farther down the road, technology, talking about this technology than folks actually are, with the technology. And maybe,
really shocker that we in the industry are talking more about the technology than the people that are actually using the technology.
They're all superheroes, so I think that they're all capable of being so far beyond where some of them are right now. So I have great expectations and great hopes for the channel. So
what you're telling me is that we have 24 more months of talking about cloud and the transition to cloud that we've been talking about for the last 6 months.
Yeah, well, I don't know if it's so much the transition. I think it's more about discovering new areas of opportunity with the cloud. That said, there are more solution providers than I expected who are still kind of at the early stages of the cloud adoption and offering those services to their customers. So yeah, I mean, we may be talking cloud for, get it, talking cloud? We may be having the cloud discussion for, a little while longer, Diane, so settle in.
Well, I look forward to it. It's a great conversation.
It is. You know why? Because it's always changing, right? So cloud is the base conversation, and then, we can have so many offshoot conversations from there. So
I wonder what our readers think around these technologies.
Our readers?
The readers that have to put in the comments and the thing that you do like this every week.
I wonder too, and so I would ask our audience, please, if you have any opinions about today's, if you have any opinions about the Channel Directions live event, provided you were there, of course, please let us know. Let us know what you think. We totally want to hear about it. Also, if you have any opinions about today's topic, and then other topics you'd like us to cover on the ChannelTech VideoCast, please feel free to use that comment box below that we've been pointing to. Also, you can share your comments over on the PartnerPath website, which is www.partner-path.com. And next week, I'm actually traveling to the Gartner Symposium, IT Expo. So big doings there. So I'm sure I'll come back with plenty to talk about. But Diane, you're going to be there or not?
I'm not going to be at the Gartner event, no. I get to stay local next week.
Are you going to AWS Summit?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. All right. Well, we can talk about stuff that happens out of there too. So
absolutely.
So it sounds like we're going to have a really, really great ChannelTech VideoCast next week. So ready yourselves, set your VCRs, and until then, I'm your host, Charlene O'Hanlon. Diane, thank you very much for taking the time. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Charlene. Great to see you.
See you next week. This is Charlene O'Hanlon signing off.